Hello, good morning, Eric. How's it going over in Nijkerk?
Very well, Nathan. How are you today?
Yeah, not too bad. Enduring this sudden drop in horrible weather over in Manchester. I'm not sure where it's come from, but it's been horrific. So, but yeah,
So
no,
all the cold
all
weather fronts come from the north, right? So
that's
winter is
exactly
coming.
it.
Winter is
That's
coming.
exactly it. The beast from the east, they call it, I believe.
Very
But yeah,
good.
but no. So
Excited about today.
yeah, massively. This is a really exciting update. So to all the partners tuning in, thank you for joining this. Yeah, we're really excited for this. I think this is stage three in our roadmap of simplification, which we'll go through in a minute. So we've already had integrations, we've had communications, and now it is AI. So yeah, what can you expect from this webinar? So we'll go through again sort of a recap on the mission of Workspace 365, what is driving us every day, what's the thoughts behind this roadmap. We'll have a recap on everything that we've accomplished in 2025 within Workspace 365. So sharing again communities and the integration builder, and then we will take a look at our very exciting new AI update, which yeah we're super excited to share. And then yeah, we'll go through sort of what's coming up and what to expect. So yeah,
Oh, good.
brilliant. Yeah, really excited for this one. So for those that don't know me, I'm Nathan. I'm a global partner account executive. I think I have met most of our partners already, but if you haven't, feel free to drop us a message. And you know, if any questions do arise throughout this webinar, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself or Eric. And yeah, joined by a man who needs no introduction, co-founder and CEO of Workspace 365. So yeah, thank you for joining us, Eric.
Yeah, so thanks for being part of this, Nathan. So I really enjoyed every step we've done this in 2025, all the sessions and recordings we've done. And I think it has really built kind of been a momentum on how to build our story around AI, but also how to build a story around integrations and communication. So I think definitely today has to be a recap of some
Yeah.
elements because some elements are really essential to build the AI piece on top of it. And for everyone, just want to start with the beginnings, right? So if you look at the focus of Work35 every single day, we're trying to simplify everything, right? So that's in our product. That's how we interact with our customers, how we interact with our partners, but also really bit obsessive focus on how can we make work simpler for the people who use Work35 every single day. So it's really, this is how we came about the whole AI element, because for me, if we do it right, AI can be a huge level of simplification, but we have to implement it well. It's not about technology, it's about how we help employees to simplify their work. And this is today how we kind of pitch this. And I think as a reminder, if you think about Workspace as a proposition, is how can we help companies to simplify their access? This is where most companies start with Workspace. The next step is how can we simplify communication, right? So how can we streamline everything about communication internally? And the last step is how can we simplify workflows and really kind of integrate all the applications throughout the company. And long-term goal, right? So let's say 10 years from now, if we want to, if we want to be grown up, if we are a grown-up company, we want to be the one and only interface. Because only if we are the one and only interface, then we think that ultimate kind of simplicity is achieved. And of course, for some of our customers, let's say the interface of Workspace will be 50 or 60 or 70%. So the percentage may differ, but I think if we want to focus on ultimate simplification, we have to be able to help our customers and their employees to kind of become the primary interface, not to replace the applications behind it, but to really to kind of simplify the whole kind of the interface layer for most of the people. And I think most applications are always designed by the power users, and then we kind of provide the interface for the light users. And it's all about how can we help people to go faster, better, and find what's relevant for them. And so we just make it super simple. And as a reminder, as the storyline, because this is super important to understand our next step on AI, is that last quarter we spoke about how Search Simplified brings all the applications to Workspace to really make it a connected workspace. And thinking about Workspace as an integrated platform, it's about how can you connect all your apps like your CRM, your Sage, your financial, your ERP, any type of application, your Microsoft 365. So it should be connected to your workspace. When all the applications are connected to your workspace, we can allow you to search through it, right? So that is kind of the whole search simplified layer. When you connect your apps, we can help you to find what's relevant. But there is a limitation of search, which we want to explain. But the essence, what we already see with the customers are testing is, hey, it's really helpful how we can help our employees to find what's relevant for them. And in our search framework, we are building and improving. So we can now create bundles of apps. Hey, search for HR policies, and then it can come from different data sources. But you can also be very targeted. Hey, only search in this library in SharePoint, right? So we can really help to show the right results, because searching and finding are two different things. You can search for everything. We have to help employees to find what they're looking for, and they don't have to second guess the information that are presented to them. So we have to prioritize, for example, SharePoint latest document based on creation date rather than all the information coming from OneDrive. So we really have to get smarter. That's what we're doing about the data we present with all level of configuration to make the workspace smarter in the data we present based on the search queries. So we see a huge impact already on Search Simplified with our customers. But we also see that the biggest challenge of search is data interpretation, right? So you can go to Amazon, you can go to any kind of large website, or let's say a retailer, and you can search for things. And that is just shopping, right? So it's simple. But let's say you ask a question to Google, so you have to interpret the data. And I think if you look at kind of interpretation of data, we all know how Google used to interpret data, and that was just based on relevance, we thought. But the level of let's say the level of visitors on Google, they would just go for the top result, but actually just a paid ad, right? So nothing to do with relevance. It's just who pays the most to be on top. And of course, we know all the scam examples about the wrong examples being number one. But the second element is, hey, if you don't want to promote it, you have to be super relevant. But super relevant is not about interpretation. It's about, are you using those keywords? Are you using the words digital workflow all the time? So people think, hey, you have to be the right product for us to look for. So Google used to be about relevance, but it has to be interpreted. And I think most employees, just the limit of the kind of the intelligence of Google is just the people behind it. But Google can find anything for you, but you have to ask the right questions and you have to interpret the data. And what we see now, and this is massive with AI, is that AI is helping us to interpret data. Of course, there is hallucination. There are things that can go wrong. But I think in essence, the difference between search in 2024 versus search in 2025, that the interpretation, the people behind the screen are helped with interpretation. Because if I ask the same question about how to improve digital workflow in Google now, you kind of get an AI mode where you say, hey, AI mode is helping me to create relevance. So the AI mode of Google Gemini, this the model, say, hey, how can you create relevance in the question? So, and it's, hey, I found this based on those three sources. So it's not about, are you number one or are you the link I click on? Based on this summary, I already get an instruction. And this is the way we start Googling now more and more and more. And if you think about this transformation of search in the public domain, this is the same what we will see happening in companies all over the place.
Oh, exactly. It's that Google update's been an absolute godsend, I think, with the summarizing of information straight away. So yeah, no, I think I'm curious to see, how we're going to present this in our workspace. So yeah.
Yeah, for us, Nathan, it's actually quite simple, because if you think about the searching transformation, because that's what I think it is, it's a transformation of search. If we could do the same for all company related information, are we having the same impact? And I think we can, right? So our goal,
100%.
what we decided with University 5 is we want to become everything connected to the company kind of information. That can be the ERP, the CRM, every system you have customer data, kind of organizational data in. We want to be able to connect to the workspace, and we want to be able to ask the same intelligent questions and to give the same relevant answers to the people who use Workspace D5. So this is how we think about AI Simplified, right? So today I want to share the concept of how we're doing it, the timeline about the beta programs and the live dates, because we want to make sure our partners are informed first before we go to the public further down the road. So for us, I see everyone is talking about AI, right? So everyone is just adding more and more complexity. And for me and for us with University 5, it's not about adding more complexity. It's really to make sure we help employees to do their work faster, better, and we have a different outcome because they don't second guess the outcome, right? So it's our responsibility to make sure we help the employees within the company say it's just not only adding complexity or expectations, just helping you to do your work, right? So we see it as the colleague has been around for 20, 25 years in the company that knows everything, that the person everyone is always asking, right? So that's the person you want to kind of virtualize in an AI assistant because that person is always available, right? So when the available person has been with the company forever, is on holiday, it can be sick, is not available in a customer meeting, and you kind of want to mimic that person that's been around forever, right? So that person that knows everything, and even say, hey, what are the amount of deals on my name, right? So AI could say, hey, I see in HubSpot this amount of information. So we need to be the assistant with an element of company focus, just being your assistant, the assistant we all want, but not everyone can afford. So in the AI era, what we see is that AI search will surpass additional AI in 2026 by far, right? So you already see it in the public domain. In companies, you still see that every product has their own search mirror kind of glass, which also will hopefully be kind of following the same path. But we want to be the front runner to kind of search through company AI, so to company data with AI. Employees are constantly looking for kind of guidance on, is this GDPR compliant? Am I allowed to use this tool? Right. So we want to help to kind of simplify this whole compliancy element to allow the admins, hey, this is the model we want to use. This is approved. So yes, we can give it to our employees. And we want to make sure that employees feel AI as their companion and not as a threat. Because we see more and more colleagues and more employees say, hey, will AI take my role, right? So will AI replace my role? And of course, there will be a massive shift in the whole knowledge-based economy about how we treat AI and what we need to do. But in essence, it will help many roles. Of course, it will replace some kind of work elements, but only allow us to go faster, better. And of course, many things will be automated as we've seen in any revolution. But that is just an improvement throughout or a difference in throughout the whole work ethos on what the work we have to do. But in essence, we want to make sure that people see it as a companion rather than as a threat. That's how we see AI. And of course, there's many research now being done, like how fast can a company go, right? So are we doing more? Can we use less resources to do it to achieve the same? And that is just a transformation we see everyone is focusing on, like, can you do more? And of course, we all see the examples of companies, hey, we can replace our support team with AI bots. They're going back to human labor because they can have a more powerful conversation. We can't predict the future, right? So this is just massive. This is happening worldwide. Our impact in this is that we just say, hey, we just want to simplify, right? So give the people this most simplistic way to interact with AI that they feel comfortable as their assistant, as their colleague has been around forever. Then we don't have to think only about how much time do you save. It just feels AI becomes a natural part of your work rather than a threat everyone is thinking about.
Yeah, and I think that's super important to make sure that, it's super accessible to anyone, regardless of their sort of digital competence, I guess, in a way, because there'll be a lot of people that are, not as tech savvy, really cautious of how they should be using AI. So, really important for them to see this as a companion and something that can actually really help them. So, really exciting stuff.
100%, Nathan. I think that's the best summary you could say, right? So we want to make sure everyone feels comfortable. And if you think kind of the summary of those researchers, yes, we realize that we can do more based on your role, based on the type of work, you can go faster. But for me, most important is that we want to give people the confidence, right? So the worst thing can happen in anyone's role is that you feel insecure. And insecurity can come from, am I doing the right things? Am I working on the right tasks? Or am I working right content? And if the only thing we can help is make things simple, so people don't feel insecure about the things they're doing or the information they found, then I think we have a massive impact on how people do their work. Because insecurity, about great clarity, right? So you have clarity about, yes, this is the last document. You don't have to second guess. And especially when you feel insecure, you start second guessing everything. So you start asking people around you more, hey, is this the last version? Is this the right information? Am I thinking about this correctly? Right. So if you help people to increase their confidence, because their AI companion will always be there to help with the right information, no hallucination or limited, and then just everyone feels, hey, I'm feeling empowered. I'm empowered by AI to go faster, and that is the impact we want to go after.
Yeah.
So with
Absolutely.
AI Simplified, in essence, we want to be the assistant within the workspace. Hey, we help you to find everything relevant. Right. So we kind of see it as from searching to asking, right? So with searching is the interpretation of the employee that has the impact. And if you ask the question, we can do the interpretation for you and right within your workspace, right? So containing all the company related information. So as I said, we want to see it as the kind of the colleague that knows it all, right? So the super colleague everyone wants, but no one can afford or is on holiday, right? So the person
Yeah.
that is always there to help. And essential for the whole kind of AI assistant proposition is the integration builder. And as we shared with the Search Simplified concept, is that we built a whole new integration framework where you can connect any application to Workspace 5. So the way I like you to see it is just we connected everything with USB-C charging. So we created a USB-C framework. So hey, just give me your USB kind of connector, your male, we are the female, plug it in, and we can exchange data, right? So this is how we designed the whole integration framework, which resulted in the integration builder. Say any application, any CRM, any ERP, any app can kind of be connected to the workspace because we can't predict the application landscape from our customers. And for very long, we were the limiting factor. So hey, you are not able to connect to application because we haven't developed the integration yet. And with the integration builder, the kind of the amount of integrations are endless because if you can, it has an API, it can be connected. So API should be equal to USB-C, standardized information exchange, where USB-C is just a standardized power exchange, right? So USB-C, okay, or USB-C also does it on data, but let's just for as in the act of simplification. USB-C equals API. If it has an API, it can communicate with the workspace. We can exchange data. And if we can exchange data, we can find it and we can interpret it. And that's the next step of AI Simplified.
Yeah.
So our goal is really to make AI Simplified part of the workspace as a separate assistant, but also to make it part of search, right? So like you saw within search in Google, you have kind of a summary of, hey, this is what we found. And yes, of course, you can still go through your announcement to your apps, to your email, where all the separate information is found. But also we give a summary, hey, based on your question, this is what we found. This will not be part of maybe on the launch on the first element, but it's definitely something we will add very short after.
Yeah. I can imagine there'll probably be quite a lot of data teams and security teams going, well, yeah, hang on a minute. Plugging in all of our sensitive data into an AI model sounds a bit risque. How do we settle that with those data teams? How are we really protecting data still with
Yeah, so I think the best way to summarize this, Nathan, is if you go now to your workspace, we have access to SharePoint. If I sign into my workspace as Eric, I can only find the documents that Eric has access to. And you can only find the documents as Nathan that SharePoint has access to within your workspace. Sorry, your workspace has access to in SharePoint.
Yeah.
So AI is no different. So we say, hey, this is Nathan, using his AI assistant to say, asking for the latest document about customer X. And then everything will be found. Or you asking for a company policy or a travel policy to go to the Netherlands, like how to book a ticket. And then our AI assistant will say, hey, just this is the travel policy. You can come over to the Netherlands once a quarter. Ideally, you do this on the second week when we have the company kickoff. And this is the form to fill it in. Or you want me to request a ticket for you, right? So all the data is in our systems. And it's either an HR system, it's on a knowledge base, it can be an internet. And then we say, hey, in the internet, we found that the kickoff date is on this and this date in January. Hey, ideally, this should be your next trip is on this date in January, right? So we can combine all the sources and we are not mixing data because we only asked for data as it is Nathan asking, right? So everything is user authenticated. And that is very different than if you look at public AI domain, which is just everything is available. Everything we do throughout the company has a user authentication layer on it. So it's always with your unique key. We ask to the API, hey, this is Nathan knocking on the door. Can you give me the data from application XYZ? And can we start building summaries?
Yeah, nice.
So thinking about the value of AI Simplified, right? So our goal is really to empower employees to make them kind of comfortable and seeing the clarity. We want us to kind of stop wasting time for people around. Hey, if you have a valuable conversation, perfect. But not to ask for, hey, where is this? Where is that? That's just the nightmare question because no one is actually driving faster. We want to make sure everything is kind of secure and compliant, as Nathan questioned, right? So how do we kind of make sure we have the kind of the right compliancy? Everything is written out in our kind of data processing agreement. But most importantly, you determine what you want to integrate, right? So we don't say you have to search through X, Y, and Z. It's your application landscape from your customers, or if you use it internally, everything is your data. You are in control, right? So we don't determine what to do. We only allow you to build as you want it. So for us, AI Simplified is just the next step, the next layer on Search Simplified, as already being seen and embraced by many of our customers over the last few months. So in regards to timeline, right? So we have a closed beta as we run it now in Q4. So we have the first customers testing our AI assistant, and we are collecting actively feedback from those customers to make sure we are kind of improving our model. For example, some feedback has been about how to give the kind of the perception of loading, right? So is it a loading indicator? Now we change that to, hey, I'm looking for more. So to give kind of MPs more feedback on what's happening. So we go for public beta release in February. So that means that we allow all our customers and partners to test it in February till April. And then we go live to all our customers in April of 2026. So private beta first, collecting feedback actively. And then we have a private beta where everyone can test it without charge. So we just give it to everyone to make sure you are embracing the philosophy about AI within Workspace 5. And then we will start billing it in April. There is a whole conversation happening about pricing and packaging. Our communication will happen the end of November to our partners about the pricing of AI and how it's packaged and integrated in the Workspace 5. But for the sake of simplicity, we don't want to burden this webinar with everything about pricing. For me, it's about value and how we make an impact. And then we communicate separately about how this is impacting the price and how we're packaging Workspace 5. Okay. And before I do the demo, I wanna share a few things about how we look at AI within Workspace 5, because we see two elements of AI and how we're going to pitch it to our customers and partners. Is there is an element of company AI, everything about connecting your applications, and there's an element of public AI. And while license-wise, it'll become two separate things which you can enable. Let's say the idea is if you look for, let's say there is a travel policy in your HR system, you can ask for the travel policy and we can find the data in your HR system. And there is, for example, an option, hey, I can't find a travel policy. You want me to go look for one on the internet? Then you can say yes. Or you say, hey, there is just information, just hey, can you help me to write a statement of work, or can you help me to write a contract? That is not data that is in our company AI, that's our data systems, that is just available content on the internet. So we are mixing and matching both ways of working. So we allow employees to ask questions and to really have your companion with the company AI piece, but also allow them to really interact with the public AI element. And we decided to make it integrated, to make it one, and still help employees to see the difference, right? So that's something we will show. And I think the best way is that we see the company AI piece as the way to kind of aggregate everything throughout all the business applications. And the public AI is like an alternative for the paid version of Copilot, ChatGPT, Gemini, where it is controllable within the organization who has a license and how you're going to do it. It's still respecting kind of company privacy regulations as our statement of work and our data regulation shows. But also kind of a better way of restrictions, like many people are using now the free version of Copilot or ChatGPT. But it's very limited in how you can control the data and what to do and how to kind of create a better understanding of the data. And our elements, okay, if you ask questions, we also can get smarter about, hey, people are asking for this information not clear, so we have to update our policies, right? So really about to become a smarter company, it's about learning all together and updating information along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's just switch to the live demo, because I think that is just the most fun about today. So if you think about my workspace, right? So we created an example, and this is the workspace, how we think about. Let's just show and explain how the AI assistant could work. So in essence, this is what you see today, right? So you don't have the AI assistant available. There will become a new icon available, the AI assistant, which you can pin. You can also enlarge it. The AI assistant will get a name and the interface will change when we go live. But this is the first beta. And what you actually see is that if you pin it, then your AI assistant can go through everything here in your hub, right? So let's just focus on the knowledge base. So let's say all the information in the knowledge base is already indexed by the AI assistant, right? So I can say, what's our remote? So rather than just having to go to my a knowledge base within the workspace, I can just ask the question. And of course, it's not very logical that you only have kind of 5 or 6 articles where the knowledge base is based on. We have customers that have 2,000 or 2,500 different categories, right? So the amount of knowledge base articles, the amount of information in a company is huge, right? So then you have to go to HR document to go find, and let's say, what's a travel policy. And what you see now is actually giving a summary about everything throughout what you find within the hub about related information. But that's also, if you take the example of, let's say, do we have a company bicycle plan? Right, so now the AI system is checking the knowledge base. Hey, do we have something written out about bicycles? And very logical, it will say, no, in the Manchester, we don't do this. We don't have it. So, hey, I can't find it. The policy is here. And then you can say, this is the answer, right? So it's a combination of the public domain and the company domain. And this will be more explicit when we go live, is that we say, hey, this is what we found within the company, and this is what we found externally. And of course, it's the same, say, hey, can you write a summary of the partner webinar for AI Simplified with all our partners, right? So you can also use the same kind of chat functionality to ask your AI, which is based on the public element, to also write content for you. And the way we will do it is that we will kind of make this more explicit, that the AI assistant with the name can also help you to do work, right? So we say, hey, how can I help you? What is the work you have to do now? And how can we do it? Because now it's only about asking questions. And we think we want to make it more explicit about how to do it, right? So you see that the AI summary is just giving you the kind of the right context. Of course, the learnings will be in the AI model, but all the AI learnings are only in this specific environment, right? So Nathan Inc., this is the company workspace. Only the data and the learnings are staying in this language model, right? So we're not copying data to learn from other workspaces. We keep it strict separated to make sure you're kind of using it for the same definition as your colleagues. And the whole idea is that we show people, we can help you to find what you're looking for. We can also help you to create what you're working on. And I think in our current kind of design, that's not clear. So we will improve that along the way as we go live in the public beta on the 6th of February, and also towards the end of the beginning of April when we go public.
Yeah. This is really powerful, and I think just thinking of use cases off the top of my head, I can imagine there's going to be a lot of IT support teams that are taking a big breath of relief. But like users can now even self-serve for certain things rather than having to go straight to IT submitting those tickets. They can
100%.
just use the AI chatbot, like, hey, I've had a dodgy email, or hey, this laptop's not working, or I can't get access to this. It's really giving the user a lot more power, I guess, to find that information. So yeah, really powerful.
And to be honest, Nathan, I think it's far beyond even, let's say, IT. It's like everyone within some kind of service-related function in the company will have questions from colleagues about X, Y, Z, right? So if we can streamline all those questions into an AI model, but I think even if you are in sales, hey, what are my top 10 deals I need to focus on, right? So now you have to go to your CRM application, you have to find it, right? So we can interpret data. So we connect everything. And in most companies, let's say you have customers in finance, but also customers in CRM, right? So a customer name is found in multiple locations, and that's very confusing, right? So where to go for X? And you really need to know, you need to be around for many years. Say, yes, invoices are this system. This is how we can bake filters. We just say, hey, what are the 3 latest invoices of customer X? And then we can just find the data for you. So you don't have to think about where to go to build a report or where to go to find this information. We can just help you to guide it. And I think that is the essence of connecting all the applications to Workspace 5. So we can help you to become a smarter, better coworker, because we just help you find it. And you don't have to think about where is it stored or where can I find it.
Yeah.
And to summarize 2025. So we started the year focusing on communication simplified. We shared everything with our partners and customers about how we embrace communication, how we really kind of extended the internet function within Versity 5. Then in the second quarter of the year, we focused on search simplified. So really embracing the integrations, allow employees to find everything connected. And now the third step is really to integrate AI throughout the workspace. And now, as I said, in the private beta, we will go live throughout 2026. And the last step of our kind of focus for 2025 from a development team perspective is really to kind of present workflows and interfaces differently. Because while I think that AI can help people to find, there are also so many things that you say, hey, sometimes it's helpful to see the last 10 things I'm working on, right? So to kind of see the last 10 deals, or to see my last 10, my 10 meetings, or to summarize and aggregate it. So what we are doing now is to build front-end apps. So, hey, those are my open, let's say my days off, or these are my holidays. This is my pending invoices. So just give people a perspective about, hey, just give me an update about my work, right? So I think it's a similarity to if you read the news, you're not asking your chat GTP, so what's the latest on, let's say, the weather the weather in, or what has happened in Manchester, or what has happened in the UK, or what has happened in Norway. You're not asking for the news, you're reading the news and what's relevant. And we want to combine the workspace on what's relevant towards what you're looking for and asking for. And I think that combination about bring people what's relevant, communication-wise, but also organizational information, company information, application specific, based on your role, these are the information you always want to know, and then be able to ask and find if you have the right answers, right? So for me, it's the combination. I think AI will help to replace many elements of front-end development, but will not replace it entirely, because there is a level of kind of focus and clarity. Say, this is what's expected from me today. This is my to-do list. This is the things I have to work on. And you're not constantly asking your AI assistant, what is my next to do? What's my next to do? It's like constantly seeing it. This is my clear view. This is my cockpit. This is me driving the car. This is my dashboard. And AI can help you to curate and collect the right information. So this is how we see the same kind of visualization layers. And equally important to AI, as the integration builder, as you explained it, the same relevance is for the whole workflow simplified, because the integration builder is also used to build those front apps, right? So those front end apps for invoice, for example, is leveraging the same connection we're using for AI Simplified as for workflow simplified.
Yeah. Of course.
So more to come on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So last but not least, so maybe you want to say something about the partner webinar on the 5th of December, Nathan?
Yeah, of course. I think it sort of ties into with the AI release and the rest of the roadmap. We're going to have some sort of how we incorporate that into our pricing and packaging. So yeah, we have a webinar next month where we'll sort of go through what you can expect in those changes, and we can maybe work on how you'll position that to your customers as well. So yeah, you can register to that in the website partner portal events. So yeah, hopefully look forward to speaking to you all there. And in terms of this webinar, if you have any questions about our AI model, I would like a call with myself and Eric to just go through this again and work on use cases and how you can position this to your customers. We're always open to have a conversation, so you can reach out to me via email at nathan.hamilton@workspace365.net.
I have the privilege only to have Eric at versity5.net. So if you prefer to send me the email, much shorter, Eric with the K. So that's the only difference. So Eric with the K at versity5.net. So that's the way to reach me.
Yeah, exactly. You know someone's VIP when it's just first name at company domain. So maybe
just the first. So everyone, after we got more Nathans, we had to decide, hey, we also have to include the last name rather than the first name. So if you want with the privilege, Nathan, nothing to do with more important. So you're equally important than I am. But thanks for tuning in, everyone, today. Thanks for listening to this recording. Nathan, thanks for doing this with me, and really appreciate it.
Thank you, Eric. Amazing.
Have a good one.
Yeah.